A very warm welcome to the top three finishers of the FIA Formula One Italian Grand Prix. In third place, Oscar Piastri. In second place, Lando Norris. And taking the 66th win of his Formula One career and his third here at Monza, our winner, Max Verstappen. Very well done, Max. You were relentless out there today. The margins were small, yet you somehow managed to win the race by 20 seconds. How sweet was that victory for you?
It was 19, no?
19 and a half.
I just don't want any misinformation. 19.
Yeah, I would say probably a bit better than expected. But once I got back in the lead, I just tried to focus on my own pace, and it just kept going well. I would say only the last maybe 6 to 8 laps of that stint, I started to struggle a little bit on that medium. But up until that point, it was nice for once. The car was doing a little bit more what I liked. It just seems like this weekend has been another step forward with just the behavior of the car, and that also then shows in the race, I think. So that was a big positive for us. Then of course we did a bit more of a normal strategy, medium hard. Of course McLaren stayed out to try and gamble for the safety car, and I think that's why of course the gap is a little bit bigger than it should have been. But still, for us, an incredible weekend.
You say the car was doing what you liked. What stood out about its performance today?
Well, that it's just not... before it just feels like you're a passenger in the car, like we had some races where it was just not balanced. And now finally there was more balance in the car, and then, the tires also then behave a little bit more normal.
Now, the race settled down after the early laps, but can we talk to you about those early laps and your battle with Lando? It looked good fun.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot going on after the first lap, even into turn one. I think Oscar and Charles were fighting as well. I could see in my mirror, so it took like 2-3 laps to settle in a bit, and then from there onwards it was fine.
And when you made the decisive pass for the lead, how confident were you of pulling away from Lando?
You don't know. I mean, of course, you were pushing a bit to try and get ahead, and then it just, time will tell, right? And that's if it was going to hang on or not. But yeah, after a few laps, it looked like it was going really well.
Now, you've said several times this weekend that this has been a great turnaround compared to this race last year. Just how much hope does that give you for the remainder of the season?
Well, I think it's still a bit track dependent. I mean, here you drive low downforce. It always seems like our car is a little bit more competitive, and it's low to medium downforce. So it's not like suddenly now we are back, It's not like we can fight, I think, every single weekend. But the positive is that we seem to understand a little bit more what we need to do with the car to be more competitive. So I hope that just carries on into the coming rounds as well, and some tracks will be a bit better than others.
Okay, very well done today, Max. Thank you very much. Lando, let's come to you. How much did you enjoy those early laps with Max? Talk us through that battle, first of all.
It was a little bumpy at one point, but it was what I expected. It was close, and it was fun racing. Tough, again as expected, but enjoyable is what I probably enjoy more than anything is these kind of battles. So. It was in a way nice to come out on top for a couple laps, but it didn't last very long, and Max's pace was just far too good for us today, especially in that first stint, especially in the first 3/4 of the first stint. So close. Even when he got me into turn one, we were both pretty late on the brakes, and we just about made the corner. It was close. I feel like there was probably a little bit of rubbing at some point. So. Nerve-wrackingly close, and exciting for that reason. I wish it could last a bit longer than what it did, So just a tough race for us, not the pace we wanted. I think we were hoping to at least fight for a win. Max's race was a bit too easy today. So, work to do, clearly, for our side.
You say nerve-wrackingly close, referring to the battle with Max. Do you think it was fair? Good racing?
It's not my decision in the end, so yeah, got nothing to say. It was good. And but the main part I said was nerve-wrackingly close was when he overtook me into turn 1 on the outside, with like lap 2 or 3, whatever it was. So that's the one where it's like who wants to break the latest. But I knew being on the inside that Max is in a much more strong position than I am. He can afford to be a lot more on the edge and aggressive than I can. I can't afford to lose a front wing or have a little bit of damage, whatever it may be. So I felt like I took the risks that I needed to take and did my part, but just not quick enough.
You say Max's race was a little too easy today. Do you think McLaren's advantage will be back at the next race in Baku?
Well, I mean, if you look back at last year, it was pretty close between many people. The Ferraris as well were very strong there. We expect them to be good there. But it's pointless to guess. We go into every weekend with an open mind. We've been dominant, and I think that's always like a positive thing at the end of weekends is when we come out and we've had a 1-2, and sometimes it's a smaller gap, sometimes they're much bigger. But we still go into weekends with the expectation that anyone could be there, whether it was the Ferraris or the Red Bulls, most likely. We still think they could qualify ahead and they could beat us in the races, but therefore we're not too shocked to have lost today and to have not been on pole yesterday. We knew already on Friday, FP1, it was not going to be a great weekend in terms of dominance like we've had. So you have to look at things on the other side. We've had 95% have been amazing, and we've won by huge gaps. So it just hurts that it's a little bit the other way for once. But when you look at the flip side, there's still a lot more good races than bad. So we have to take it on the chin, learn from this weekend, and see what we can improve for the other lower downforce tracks like Vegas.
Can I just ask you now about those closing laps? You have the problematic pit stop resulting in Oscar sneaking ahead. Given what's at stake in the world title fight, did you ever doubt that he'd let you through again?
No, because it's what we decided as a team, and it's what we all agreed upon. So,
okay, thank you for that. Oscar, can I come to you now? Very well done to you. Can I bring you in on that? Given the high stakes game that you and Lando are playing in the world title fight, how much did you question the request to let Lando through?
It's something that we'll discuss. We have discussed it before, but I think today was a fair request. Lando qualified ahead, was ahead the whole race, and lost that spot through no fault of his own. So said what I had to say on the radio, and once I got the second request, then I'm not going to go against the team. So I think there's a lot of people to protect and a culture to protect outside of just Lando and I, and ultimately that's a very important thing going forward.
All right, what about the rest of your race? Did the time lost behind Charles Leclerc cost you a real chance of challenging these two guys?
That's certainly not Max. I think with Lando potentially, but even once I got ahead of Charles, I was struggling a bit. The balance just was not in a great place. I think as the medium stint went on, we seemed to get stronger and stronger, and I felt like I got stronger and stronger too, which was nice. But ultimately just didn't quite have the pace. And I think once you got close to people, unless you had a fair bit more pace than them, it was very tough to stay behind.
All right, very well done to you. Thank you for that. Let's now open this to the floor. As ever, name and publication, please. Who's first? Ronald.
Ronald Vodding, motorsport.com. It's a question to Max. Both Helmut Marko and Pierre Wache have just said that there was a slightly different philosophy going into the weekend, maybe listening to driver feedback a bit more, probably a bit less looking at the simulator. Just how significant has that been, and also how important has Laurent Mekies been in all of that with his engineering background? Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, up until now, we've had a lot of races where we were just shooting left and right a little bit with the setup of the car, like quite extreme changes, which shows that we were not in control. We were not fully understanding what to do. And I think with Laurent, having an engineering background, he's asking the right questions to the engineers, common sense questions. So I think that works really well. Plus, you just try to understand from the things that you have tried, that at one point some things, of course, give you a bit of an idea of a direction, and that's what we kept on working on. And I definitely felt that in Zandvoort already we took a step that seemed to work quite well, and then here another step which felt again a little bit better.
Thanks, Max. Next.
Nigel Chu, Sky Sports. Question to Lando and Oscar. Just going back to the swap, if it was the last 2 or 3 races and the championship was still quite close, would you still expect to be asked to swap if the car ahead had a slow pit stop, just like today? And would you do it?
Yes, because that's what we've agreed as a team.
Yep.
Okay, thanks both. Next.
Hi, I'm Bas from the Dutch Formula A magazine. Question to Max. What would you have done in the position of Lando and Oscar if you were fighting for the title? Give the place back, or?
I know that you guys want a fun answer on that, but it's not it's not my problem. So that's
no, I know, but still, if you were fighting for the title, I mean,
again, not my problem.
Okay,
it's better not to talk about it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, let's look.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. Oscar, same subject. Were you surprised at all when you got that request on the radio? Because I don't know how clear it has been in terms of what specific incidents or things would happen where you do need to make a move like that. So did it come as a shock at all?
I mean, no, not really. I think we have had discussions about all kinds of scenarios, and I think when you're in the same team, then when there's things outside a driver's control, there's a lot more ways you can rectify things. So it is a discussion we've had. I think some more. I'm sure we'll review it and discuss more, but it wasn't a situation that hadn't been discussed before.
Phil Duncan, PA. Just on that theme, Oscar, you said on the radio we said that a slow pit stop was part of racing. So I don't know what has changed. So what did you mean by that? Did you expect that you wouldn't be asked to move out of the way?
I think the radio call kind of says enough. So I'm sure we'll discuss it again.
Any more?
Nate Saunders from ESPN. Question to both McLaren drivers, slightly hypothetical maybe, but you've talked about righting wrongs and fairness, etc. Let's say in Baku, Oscar has a perfect weekend, and at the end of the race there's a slow pit stop and drops him from 1st to 4th, let's say. What happens in that situation now? Is the expectation that Lando should have to give a position back to a rival to balance things out? Because it seems like that's the precedent. I know you're laughing about it, but that does seem to be the precedent that's been set today. You're not always going to be able to move the other car out of the way. What would the expectation be in that situation for the two of you?
I mean, I think if you can control it, then you can answer if you want. I mean, I think if it's within your control and there's no other cars involved, it's quite simple. But obviously, if there's other cars involved, we're not going to give away, all of those points to other teams for a mistake. But when there's no cars in between, it's much easier to rectify it. So to answer your question, if it had have been more cars in between, then no, we wouldn't have swapped back because, at that point it does just become very unfortunate.
Lando, can we just get Lando's take on that?
No, she cut me off. It's fine.
You go ahead. You can go first.
No, it's too late. No, Oscar. I think Oscar said it well. Like, every situation is different, so I think it's pretty stupid just to assume that kind of thing and just say that's the precedent you said. We're not idiots, and we have plans for different things. If there was 4 cars in between me and Oscar, of course he's not going to let me back past, and I don't think that's correct that he let me back past. But in a situation where we weren't racing, in a situation where we can just be fair, then you'd expect to be fair as a team. You know, they don't want to be the reasons. They don't want to be the reason to upset one driver or another through no fault of their own. You know, today was not my fault. So if I came flat out into my box and I hit all my mechanics out the way, I also don't expect to get the position back. But today was out of my control. And in the end, I don't want these. Like, I don't want it to win this way through getting given positions or anything like that. And the same thing with Oscar. You know, we don't want to lose or win like that. But you know, we do what we think is correct as a team, no matter what you say or what your opinions are, and we stick to doing it our way.
Lando, will anything change when McLaren wins the constructors' title?
No, not that I know of. Ask Andrea.
Okay. Next one.
Sorry for cutting you off, Lando. Charlotte gaat van Maximaal.nl. I have a question for Max. At the end of the race, GP was sort of not slowing you down, but he was saying, like, hey, bring the car home. How much margin did you have left? Because you were saying full push, no risk.
Yep. I don't know. It was a bit more of a joke because our engineer in sim racing with Team Redline, he always says that he's just quite stressed sometimes. And when I'm in the race, he's always like, yeah, no risk, full push. So that's why I said it. Yeah, it was all under control. Yeah, the car felt nice, the tires were fine. GP, of course, he wants to also, you know, just make sure that I'm driving, you know, without any risk. And that's what I did.
Thank you, Max. Any more?
Samarth Canal, the race. For Oscar, again, on the same topic. Do apologise, but you know, it's such a small difference between second and third. I mean, it's 3 points in it. But if at the end of the season you lost by that margin, would you have looked back at this moment and regretted it? And also, was there something going through your mind beyond just caring for the team and your teammates and doing the right thing that maybe pained you in a little sense to swap positions?
I wouldn't regret it. No. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I think today it was a fair decision. You know, Lando was ahead the whole race, and again, it wasn't through any fault of his own. So I think for me that's fine. And ultimately, whoever wins the championship wants to have won it as much as they can through their own performances and things that they can control. And today, that wasn't one of those things.
All right, thank you. Another one?
Leonid Kloof, Grand Prix. Actually, I found a way to ask it differently. Question to Oscar and Lando. It's very rare to hear that anything is more important than the chance of winning a championship. What is it, I don't know, about McLaren culture, I guess, that makes you stand so much from almost every other competitor in the history of championship? Thank you.
I mean, I think, you know, we've said many times now that we don't want a chance at this success just for this year. You know, there's a big regulations change next year. We don't know how competitive we're going to be. We don't know how competitive anyone's going to be. But, you know, ultimately, we want the best chance at winning championships for as long as we're Formula One drivers. And we're both at McLaren for a very long time. And protecting the people around us that give us this opportunity is a very important thing. So, you know, I think it's easy enough to put yourself second at times like that, especially, you know, if we were fighting very closely for the whole race, then, you know, it's slightly different. But Lando was ahead by a few seconds the whole race, so there's no concern for me with that. And ultimately, again, we don't just want this year to fight for a championship, we want it for as long as possible. And protecting the people, that includes the people doing the pit stops, you know, it's not a very nice feeling, I would imagine. So it's important to protect all the people that we have, because that's what gives us a championship hope for years to come.
That was beautiful. That was funny. No, he said it well. I don't need to add anymore. The team is priority. Team is number one. Then drivers are second. So that's how it works. Normally, when you see teams who don't have some sort of enough respect for the team and the opportunities that the team give, it doesn't normally last long. And you see that with plenty of other teams, whether it's been Red Bull, Ferrari, or Mercedes. And we want to try and be in this position for a longer period of time than what they have been at the top. So still early days. It's only our second year of fighting for wins. But like Oscar said, the team give us these opportunities. Without the team, then we're just fighting for 10th, and none of us want that. So team and the morale, the spirit of the team is priority, and we're below that.
Okay, let's do one more.
Nate Saunders, ESPN. Lando, just one for you. It was hard to make out at the end of the race, but it sounded like when you came out onto the podium, there was kind of a mixture of cheers and boos. It's obviously a very famous podium here where you're kind of right on top of the crowd. I just wondered what your reaction to that was. And Max, I think you joked earlier this week that you might have PTSD from that Max Verstappen song if you keep hearing it, but what was it like hearing that today, kind of at the top there, again, because of how special this podium is as a venue? Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know why. So I heard them, but I don't know what I'm going to do. So I hear the cheers louder than the boos, and that's the most important.
I think already in Imola was pretty similar. It's just nice. I mean, to see that support. Of course, they're all, or most of them are here to support Ferrari. Unfortunately, of course, they were not on the podium. But I mean, to see that crowd was incredible. Honestly, it's probably the best podium, I think, in the season in terms of what you see and just how big the crowd is. And they were very joyful, I would say. Yeah, just having a good time. And it was, just nice to be part of it.
Okay. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Lando. Very well done to all three of you. See you in...
Yeah, we have watched the post-race press conference of the Italian Grand Prix with Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri. As always, I'm commenting about the press conference, what they are saying, what sometimes what the journalists having the questions to the Formula One drivers. But today I'm not going to comment anything about the press conference. Just I want to comment about the race, what happened to the race with Verstappen, Piastri, and Lando Norris. Somehow legendary. Max Verstappen won the race with 20 seconds gap to the McLaren. I wasn't expecting today to see this kind of performance and this kind of gap from the Max Verstappen to the McLarens. Absolutely, it was the surprise of the all week from the Max Verstappen. And I'm sorry I got wrong that I was saying all week that I'm very optimistic that we are going to see any surprise from the Ferrari, but that didn't happen. My guess didn't happen. I want to say sorry about that, but I was very consistent every day with that opinion. Also, that was honestly my opinion that we are going to see anything from the Ferrari, but we didn't see something like that on the Ferrari. That surprise that I was talking for the Ferrari just it happened from the Max Verstappen. Interestingly, with the setup that they did yesterday, the car became alive like at times when they were dominating Formula One with that Red Bull. It was a very big performance from the Max Verstappen. Just congratulations to him. And we saw from the McLaren's very childish strategy and very stupid things on the last couple of laps at the Grand Prix. I think because of the slow stop to replace the positions, it was very funny moments on the track. And if you have watched the race, Max Verstappen just was laughing with that decision of the McLarens. I think it was very unnecessary to do that, but they did it because of the slow pit stop of Lando Norris. They gave back positions to him, and they just expected racing from them, expected from Oscar Piastri to attack Lando Norris or something like that. But if they go like this to make decisions like this, I think they will create the fight between the drivers, like on a time that we have watched a lot of times between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. I think it was to make that unnecessary. Then if I know that Oscar is going to win this year the championship, I think, and the every single staff on the McLaren knows this, but let's say they just decided to replace position. As I said, it was very unnecessary. As the other things that happened on the race, I think it was very interesting to watch it. We saw some stupid accidents, but this race also was the fastest race on a history of Formula One today. And of course, like the Ferrari's performance was okay, Lewis Hamilton's performance was okay, but it wasn't enough to beat at least one McLaren, or to make at least third place on a podium. Maybe next year we will see these kind of performances from the Ferrari. I'm going to finish my comments about the race and of course about the press conference. Just I want to remind you, from the beginning of the next season, with me and with my friends, we are going to do Formula One sim racing on our new channel. Your support will make us really happy if you subscribe also on that channel. We are going to put the channel's link on the comment section, on the description section, and you can find that channel on the card section. Your support will make us really happy. And of course, just don't forget to like this video, to comment it, and to share, possibly because of why we gave a long break to the YouTube, like 2-3 months. YouTube started to test us one more time, like in the beginning of the channel, and we are struggling a little bit more with our views. Our impressions are not good as we need. As I said, to pass this test period of YouTube more fastly, we will kindly ask you to like the video, to comment it, and who has that hype button, to hit that hype button, and of course to subscribe to the channel.